Willie, now you heard me say we was going live. Hey, going live.
Who is Miss Andrews there?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Willie.
We're going to go through some introductions in a minute. So, yes, we are back after taking off this past Monday for my bereavement purposes. Come on, tell the truth. I know we were
David,
missed.
you know, it's been a long time since I've done any kind of live anything. And you got me on this whole this Newcomb's caption.
Ed, man, you killing me, man. I'm going through my introductions, man.
He needs 1 minute. 1 minute.
All right. So, you know, that's just the level of excitement when someone joins. So they started talking. Sorry about that. We're gonna get the thing rolling. So again, I'm your host, David Lorenzo Glover, aka the Controversial Counselor. Joining me is the most top of the line panel out there, bar none. Herb Lewis, the big bad wolf.
Ow.
Willie A. Price speaks nothing but the truth.
Oh, and I'm here to speak it tonight, boy. That's gonna be upset folks.
Christine comes correct all the time, Brooks.
That's right.
The lovable Lakia Perry.
Hi, guys and girls.
Hopefully, maybe Vegas bound Annette Life Coach Williams will be joining us.
Oh, yeah, she's in Vegas.
And finally, the youngest in charge, Shaughnessy Andrews. Hey. Well, the last time we were live, we discussed the topic, can a step-parent genuinely love their partner's child as their own? So that seemed like it was ages ago, but it was only about a week, 2 weeks ago. It most definitely could happen, but sometimes the chips may be stacked against you. So that may be the reason why the big bad wolf dropped that hit single, Say No to Single Mothers. On Monday, tonight, we will lead off with the hot trending topic based off of the Will, Jada Smith, and Chris Rock shenanigans. What does protection feel and look like in a relationship? So a lot of that was based on the protection, or should he had done this, or how he handled it and stuff. So we'll talk about that. But no need to say more. Let's look at the other three talking points. After a breakup, have you ever given a person a second chance? Some people like, no, I don't go back. I don't do that once I leave. But in all reality, sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side. And sometimes you may be able to work through a second chance with somebody. But we'll talk about that further. Number 3, mandatory DNA testing. Opinions and thoughts on that. And number 4, ladies, what are your issues with a sensitive man? You know, in one breath, women want men to have some sensitivity, but then in the other breath, if they too sensitive. Lakia, you sound like you can go platinum with your voice.
Thank you.
So, of course, we had to come back with some fire tonight. So please like and share the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. So here we have it. We're back. Looking forward to this. Got some good hot topics going on. Everybody, briefly tell me what's good in y'all world, and then we'll get ready to talk. So anybody got any news to share?
I got a lot of good.
I came back from HBCU college road trip.
Yes, where'd you go?
It was so fun. We went to
she was down your way, Chauncey.
And we went to Morgan State, Howard, Coppin. Go Coppin!
Yes,
go Coppin! Okay, and we went to one more. What was the other one?
Howard.
Bowie.
Oh, okay. My sister went to Bowie.
Yes. And so we had a ball. The kids were awesome. These kids that were on this trip were like 45 kids, like 10 chaperones, and we had a great time. We walked. I did over 11,000 steps every day. Hola, ¿cómo está este?
Hey, y'all.
Hello.
Look, and now I'm speaking in my Spanish, the little Spanish that I know. But it was this amazing, like, feel to be just engulfed with a lot of African American, just heritage. And we also went to the African American Museum, which is so full and rich of what we've done, what we've contributed to this, to centuries, of just life. And it was just amazing. I enjoyed it.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Anybody else got anything they want to share
Oh,
briefly?
I got some good news and some good news. I just completed the New York State certified lead renovators training. And that is something that I found out. I saw this online. Actually, a course that was offered. The course is normally $750, and the city of Buffalo was paying for anyone that wanted to take it for $50. So
Okay.
I went and took the class. It was about 14 people in there. And with that certification, we discovered, and they informed us, and now in most states where a property is made prior to 1978, when you do any type of renovations or painting or anything like that, major renovations or anything like that, and if there's a possibility of lead paint, you're supposed to have a certified lead renovator on site and training the people that's doing the work and making sure the plastic and stuff like that is up. But the thing is, if they don't have somebody there and they're doing lead paint and all those things, $37,500 fine per day per violation.
That's how they dishing out all them lead checks.
Yeah. So
they're serious about that.
I got the certification, so I can train. Like, I can go on a site where somebody's doing the work, and I can actually train their people. Up to 11 people I can train, and they would have to hire me to be the site person, because I have to check every day before they start the work and make sure everything is set up the way it's supposed to be set up, because they're not certified. Exactly, Herb. Exactly. And that's what the guy told me. He said, we can go, and they got to have one on site. And if you don't, you can get up to $37,500 per violation per day for not having somebody on site when they do that work. I'm about to put my
to follow up what Will's saying. There's a lot of money that's hidden in construction, and a lot of people don't really understand how that really works. So you're looking at asbestos abatement, lead abatement, because a lot of buildings that were constructed earlier in the 20th century were built with asbestos material. That's why a lot of the schools in our district can't be done. Nothing much can be done with it because of the asbestos abatement that would have to occur, which drives up the cost. So, like you said, asbestos, lead, and then there's some other things that we just simply don't look into.
Those are the
whether
two
it's
big ones, though.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Guess what? I'm a New York State licensed asbestos inspector.
And it's money just to hang out. Literally, that is all you are doing. Yeah. I mean, there's other things I won't get into, but yeah, it's like money.
And the exams were basically the same exam, basically the same information. So I got both. I got the license and I got the certification, so I can monitor both projects. Any projects with them. That's my good news.
That's good. That's great news. Anytime you can make money and benefit and help people out, that's a beautiful thing. What's going on? Big discussion 76. How you doing? Anybody else got anything? I see Annetta. Thanks for joining us, taking the time from your Vegas life to come through. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I got good news.
Talk to us.
I am the clinical director for Native American Community Services now.
I was on. I thought you were gonna say you got married.
That's nice.
But like Lakia, there's some good potentials out here, though.
Okay, get some numbers for me.
Here we go. Here we go.
I share the wealth, baby. I share
the wealth.
But I am the clinical director now, so I literally have 4 programs up under me, which is federal programs. So I'm very excited about that, and I have to hire like about 9 to 10 staffers. Okay. And also with that, I got a substantial increase, which I didn't think was going to happen, and they're going to backdate it to December. So I was like, God, look at God.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you an NP? Are you a nurse practitioner?
I am an RN. Not a nurse practitioner.
Really?
I'm an RN and a behaviorist.
Oh, that is really good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So I'm excited about that. So they're paying my license up.
No wonder she in Vegas. Then they're
celebrate. I was like,
that's
this is good because my kids are all, in college, graduated and stuff. So now I get to live my life unrestricted. I don't have to worry about the babies, nothing like that. And so this is a good change for me.
That is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're shining on the panel. You're shining.
I'm trying to see
shining.
I'm trying to see where she is. I'm looking at the background.
I'm at Bally's.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. You're in the front of it.
I'm in the front of it. We about to go to the store. Me, my brother, and my cousins, and I'm about to go to the store. So I've been drinking on the same drink for since 11:30. I can't.
Yo, you don't want to do that in that heat.
I can't. When I say I'm a sucker, I can't.
If you've been going since 11 o'clock on one drink, you definitely a sucker for real.
Yeah.
You have to get some liquid IV.
Go straight to the wine cooler section or something.
Liquid IV.
Really, Dave? So that's how you and Will coming for me? That's how
I'm not coming for you. I'm looking out for your safety. You see
okay. Safety? Really? Her safety with a wine cooler?
If she says she's a lightweight. If she's a lightweight, then she probably should just go to the wine cooler.
Anetta, make sure y'all go down to Fremont. Make sure y'all go down to Fremont while y'all there.
Absolutely, yeah. I would if you're gonna drop some coin, go down to Fremont because the tables are a lot less expensive,
especially in the evening.
Okay.
Yeah. And if they still have it, check out the laser light show.
Okay. The laser light show, they said.
Yeah, that's at Fremont.
The laser light show in Fremont, they said we should check out. Okay.
All right.
Laser light show and Fremont.
Yeah, it's a whole a bunch of activities down there.
And
it's what they consider. It's what they consider old Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, back to the show.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome, guys.
You got anything? Or we got first time coming on here, Ed. Real Talk Smith, and people don't know Ed. Ed used when I first did Blog Talk. Ed was my first producer of Cocktail Conversations. So that was about almost 8 years ago. Damn,
yeah,
fly by.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So shout out to Ed for coming on. So what's good, brother? Thanks for joining us.
Ed is muted.
Yeah, he's muted.
Let me see.
He might have himself muted.
I think so. He don't realize it either.
Yeah, no, I just got 2 things. I said while we were in pre-meeting, I almost broke my elbow, so it's healing. And I still haven't had any news on the paternity results, so I'm still in a holding pattern on that.
Wow. How long does it take?
I looked up online what it said for Canadian results. It said 10 business days, and it's been longer than that, so I'm just gonna let it go. I'm not gonna push the issue. No need for me.
You are.
Are you gonna get the result, or is it just to him?
That's what I was thinking.
They're supposed to email me.
You are. Y'all can go to Maury.
You didn't contact them?
Say it again.
You didn't contact them?
No.
I can't.
Oh.
Maury,
they get far too many results in. They get far too many tests to really specialize for an individual. That's what I asked for the email address. I'd imagine that's how they're going to contact you. Either that, or they have the phone number. So one or the other. Like I said, I'm not going.
My anxiety. I know it's not mine, but my anxiety.
He is the father.
We gotta
get on track. We gotta get on track. So Ed, you wanna
Huh?
you want anything to say? I know you were muted earlier. So is anything you want to say? Thanks for joining us. Like I had said, is you was the first producer of my cocktail conversations about 8 years ago. Thanks for joining us. Anything you want to say as we go through this introduction phase, our long introduction phase?
Well, actually, after I had left that network and I did some other things, then I the last few years I've been going through some domestic issues. We'll have a sidebar one later on about some of that stuff. But I was always looking forward to getting back on the airwaves and and eventually working with you. But this last thing that happened last weekend, man, it kind of put some fire under me, man. I said I got to get out of here. I got to talk about this. So, long story short, that's why I'm here.
All right. So we're gonna talk about it in a second. And as you know, I had lost my my uncle, my mother's brother. So family went to Milwaukee. It was nice ceremony. Everything was cool. Seeing some of my cousins, like a lot of my male cousins that I haven't seen since we were like little kids. So it's interesting now to see everybody after all these years, everybody with their gray beards and gained so much weight. And like, man, we ain't seen you since we was like 10 years old. So they said they're gonna be making some trips to Niagara Falls and trying to come through Baltimore, whatever the case. So it's nice connecting, and I hope that we can stay connected because they're good people and they took care of us while we was in Milwaukee. They looked out.
Is there a large amount of your family in Milwaukee?
You said, is there a large? Yeah, we got a lot of family in Milwaukee, Chicago, Alabama. But it was cool going there. And a lot of people, when they think of Milwaukee, they think of the Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley and all that stuff. But no, Milwaukee is hood, straight hood, straight hood.
Wow.
It's only like an hour away from Chicago and like Gary, Indiana, and stuff like that. So it's 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 a lot of stuff going on there. So
wow.
Yeah, David, as I was saying, I can relate to that because I told you my situation, right? And which you already know about it, right? But my daughter passing, and
sorry for that, your loss.
It really kind of I was in a dark place the last couple of months, and I was already saying I got to get up out this hole, right? So, like I said, this thing that happened, it might be that little booster, gives me a chance to get up out of there and do some self-counseling at the same time, you know what I mean? So
absolutely.
Sometimes.
What city are you in, Ed?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Oh wow! My cousin just asked me to go to Los Angeles today.
Yeah,
she's going on the 6th. She's going on the 16th, but she asked me did I want to go. Okay, Los Angeles. Wow.
Yeah, we were having some issues out here in California. Besides my daughter passing in Fresno, we had a shooting in Sacramento. I don't know if you guys heard about that.
Yes.
Yeah, I did.
I think I saw something about that.
And it's been pretty crazy. I don't know. The devil's busy out here in California lately. I don't know what's going on. A lot of stuff.
I don't think I'm gonna go out there.
Busy everywhere. It's busy.
Oh no, it's not hood like some people say. It's not like that. But there are some places you got to kind of watch yourself. But it's not like that. Who's that?
I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas where Netta is.
Vegas has some hood areas, right?
Very funny.
Oh yeah, it does. I hang out on Fremont a lot too, so.
They have a lot of hood areas outside of the Strip.
Yeah, a whole lot.
I couldn't live here though. It's way too much going on.
You go in Vegas.
When you get back from Vegas, you need like a whole 2-3 days
to recover, right? Vacation
too much going on.
Recover from the vacation.
I am. Exactly. I really am because I said I'm so sleep deprived right now.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been there? How long are y'all gonna be there?
Well, we got here yesterday, but keep in mind, I've been traveling for the past 3 weeks.
Right, I knew you.
So
Oh,
I
yeah,
haven't been, sleeping. I've been
yeah.
like, I said to them, I'm paying for hotel rooms that I'm not staying in.
Oh, yeah. All it's doing is housing your clothes.
That's it.
Listen, that's
Well, if
it.
you're just
That's
visiting,
it.
if you're just visiting, it's cool. It's
So
cool
I'm
to
glad,
visit, but just
I got a couple
you know.
island trips planned in the next few weeks. So
Oh, wow. How long you
And
gonna
while
be
it'll
you're
away?
be
out
all
there, you
right.
might as well hit the Grand Canyon too, though.
I've been to
Listen,
the Grand Canyon. I'm not real impressed with the Grand Canyon.
How long you
Oh,
gonna be in
okay.
Vegas? How long you gonna be there, Netta?
do y'all want to
Sunday.
get on with the subject?
Yeah, I understand that. How long you gonna be there?
Yes, get on with the subject. I don't want to
You
get
know
an
how
inbox from
we'll be
Dave
trying to
like
take over the show.
you can't
Yeah.
take
No,
up the
I'm just
show with
asking
that
how long she
stuff
gonna be there. That was my only question. How long you gonna be there?
Inbox
till
her.
Sunday.
Okay. Inbox me. I
All
gotta
right.
tell you some places to go.
Okay. All
I
right.
know a little
He
a
just
few
want me to
months ago,
inbox him, y'all.
a few months
He just
ago,
want
Inbox
me to
He just wants
inbox
you
him.
to.
That's
He just
all.
wants you to unblock him.
That's true.
Oh
Yeah,
my,
unblock me and
Uh,
then block me back later.
my.
all right.
All right, here we
All right.
go.
a
Before
All
we
few
right.
go
months
any,
ago, I wanted to. I was going to work on renewing my passport because I asked a couple places I wanted to go, and then the wars started happening, and I said, no, not right now.
Mm.
So,
I'll blame you.
That's a valid
but
point.
I'm still gonna renew my passport, but I'm not
still
going
can
nowhere.
renew it just to have it,
Right.
Have
it
it ready.
renewed.
Yeah.
And
So,
have
all
it
right.
ready.
Yeah, 'cause I was. Yeah, because it's tax season. I was thinking when I got my little refund, I was actually thinking about going, somewhere, a couple of parts of Europe. But I ain't going right now because things is getting crazy. Ain't no telling what might jump off. I'll mess around and end up being one of those refugees in one of them countries. Oh man, I ain't gonna get caught up over there like that. Not
So
right now. But
we're
so
gonna we're
what was
gonna
the
go.
subject for tonight?
We're gonna start off
Huh?
with the segment number one. So, what does protection feel and look like in a relationship? And that kind of goes back to the Will Smith, Chris Rock, Jada Smith incident. So, when you think about in your a relationship protection, and usually when you think about protection in a relationship, it deals with like harm, different protection of elements, your heart, reputation, feelings, sexually, spiritually. So it's a lot of different things go into protection. So who would like to open up and talk about just that whole thing, that
Oh
particular incident,
Lord.
and just protection in relationships? Period.
Um, I can start. Um, I protection is a. I think it can be. It can. It can come off as different for different people. Everybody doesn't seek or see the same protection, especially with this Will Smith Chris Rock thing. I personally feel that that wasn't a sense of protection in that aspect. I was really against the women that agreed with it because to me, somebody that is that important to me, my partner, somebody that we have built this empire, this institution, this union with for so long, somebody, even if you want to call it disrespect, somebody disrespecting me in a moment, not putting their hands on me, um, as a joke, whether it was poorly done, in poor taste or whatnot, I am not going to jeopardize our legacy and what we have going on um, to, I guess, support my ego or my insecurities. So I feel like that wasn't a form of protection. Um, and I feel like Jada missed on that because to me, she should have grabbed her man and said, oh no, I get it. And I get where you're mad at, but we can't do this here and we can't do this like that. I just feel Will
I
portray
agree.
a sense of toxic masculinity where his ego was bruised and rightfully so because they have been the butt of jokes. I'm not saying that his feelings aren't valid. There's a point where everybody snaps, and I think that was his snapping point. I'm not willing to throw him away. Not willing to cancel him. But he did make a mistake. and it wasn't a form of protection for his wife. In my opinion, Jada has been short-haired for a very long time. A very long time. So for her to have been going through alopecia, it is something that, especially for women, when you lose your hair, that's a lot. But was it a buildup or was it just because of the alopecia? And I think it was just the alopecia. Protection to me has to go both ways. We do look at the man as protector and provider, but I feel like as a woman in the relationship, you have to be willing to protect your mate as well. Protect him from things as to, okay, maybe you're working too hard because you're forgetting stuff that you always do. You usually get a haircut every week and you haven't gotten a haircut. That's something that you like. You haven't been to your friend's house. That's something that you like to do. You haven't done it. It's different things like that that I feel like count as protection for the man, and she did not do that. And to me, I don't know, anybody that agrees with that hasn't been protected by a real man, um, hasn't been protected by their dad and email figures. Because I know for me, there's certain things that I'm not going to tell my father. I'm not going to tell my uncles. I'm not going to tell my cousins because there's going to be repercussions. And I know they have lives, families, businesses, and things to lose. So because I don't want that for them, I'm going to protect them and not telling them certain things or not involving them in certain situations. So it's just the whole thing was wrong.
All right.
That was the baby in charge. Look at her. Go ahead, Shaughnessy. Spit them words, girl. I know that's right. I agree with Shaughnessy 100%.
I think that was a great analysis, and
I'm glad she went first.
I agree.
Very good.
That was definitely
that was my consensus also. That protection has nothing to do with what happened on that show. That had nothing. That all was, like she said, you know, and it was basically he looked over, he laughed at it himself. So he knew it was a joke and he laughed. When he looked over and saw that she was upset, he knew he was in trouble. And as a result, he had to go do something to make her feel a little better. And then they showed the video later of her laughing when he came back. But the thing is, you're laughing at something that happened. That could have went so wrong. He could have gotten arrested. They could have been a major lawsuit, because that's what, you know, I heard Jim Carrey saying he should sue him for $200 million. You know, there were so many things. There are so many, and think about it. There are so many men in prison right now who stepped up because somebody said the wrong thing to them, or their mother, their sister, their whoever, their girlfriend, and they stepped up and did something more than just slap the person in public or whatever the case, out of anger or to defend something that was said. And there's men in prison right now for life and 20 years or most of their life because of that action. And for a woman to even think that it's okay, or like Chauncey said, you know, she doesn't tell her relative certain thing because they have families to protect and they have families and livelihoods to lose. And a lot of times people don't think about those things. You know, people say, yeah, that was good. He should have done that. But he could have been in jail right now.
Right.
He could have, and he's already losing. I think Netflix and Showtime just pulled out. Yeah, put him on hold. Yeah. And you have a lot of people talking about they don't want to work with them. And I mean, it's a lot of things, a lot of repercussions.
And then Tony Rock.
Netflix canceled.
Tony Rock about to bust him up. So we got to calm Tony Rock down too. So, so he don't
Netflix canceled him.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Can we look at the mental aspect of all of this? When you look at it, there's a whole breakdown. And everyone is looking at the academy. But prior to that, you have to look at a man that was emasculated in front of the entire world by his wife. And this has been going on from day one. To the fact of just small stuff where she said, Will's always been corny to me, but she has so many great things to say about Tupac. Yeah, we got to look at that. He's still living in the image of a dead man. Okay. On top of that, you have a woman who's emasculating you every time she have her round table. There's always a conversation as if she's the head of the household. And then you have to look at it. Will is more successful than she is. Jada's ain't doing nothing. Let's keep it real. She ain't the worth and the value that he is out here. So it was nothing for her to do for him to do a career sabotage, because she always looked at him as, mere a peasant. Okay. And so for me, any woman, when women was on Facebook like, oh, if my man ain't doing that, he ain't my man. No, you stupid. Because anybody would want their man to even get to that point that he would lose anything, that he would be jeopardized of going to jail. You don't value that man.
Yeah.
Okay. That's just it, straight out the gate. So for me, Jada should have been encouraging her man to say, you know what, let's handle this after the show. First of all, I deal with alopecia. Why are you so sensitive about something that you openly to the world about?
Been talking about, right?
Okay, so far as I'm concerned, I feel like she was full of crap. I feel like she definitely just emasculated him even more in the situation. And I feel like Will is at a breaking point. I feel like he's losing.
Absolutely.
I feel, if you
and
look
that's
at
why
his
we
eyes,
should not cancel him.
No, I feel like there should be some treatment. There should be something done. I condone relationships and marriages and all that stuff. But that's one marriage I'd be like, bruh, you need to run.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to run, bruh, and you need to go and get yourself together, because your kids are now, they are examples of what you're going through.
See, the only reason I don't support that is because Jada is a lot more vocal than Will, and we do not know what he has done in that marriage.
But Shawnee, in general, men are less vocal than we are.
Right.
True.
We're more vocal. True. We're more vocal. Men will go through turmoil and pain and will suffer in silence until there's a breaking point. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I think that the smack really initially, to me, it wasn't. Now, I don't promote being someone who dealt with abuse. I don't promote abuse, but that smack, and it was a witch smack. It wasn't even a real
I'm gonna hit
smack.
somebody, I'm gonna knock their ass out. So that's just it.
That smack wasn't really for him. That's for Augusta. That's for Jada.
All the people.
Right.
That's for everybody else. That wasn't a smack for
all
Chris
the stuff
Rock.
He's been going
Yes,
through.
Chris
It was
got
a
the
build
smack.
up. Absolutely.
He got the smack, but it wasn't initially for him. That was bent up frustration. The man sat there and was laughing. Will has joked all his entire life about obesity, hair loss, being fat, everything. That wasn't a joke for her, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't initially. She did that whole eye roll where she was disgusted because finally you ain't at the red table. Somebody roasting you, heifer.
Right.
Okay, if I could jump in real quick.
Yeah, because we're gonna have to go to the 3-minute rule. We got to go to the 3-minute rule.
Yeah, because I got to share one more thing. Go ahead. I just want to share something after you.
I just want to share that I have a little different perspective. My perspective on this is that it's actually, I don't even think it had anything to do with his reaction. Was not due to. I think it was due to the fact that the role that he played of Serena Williams, their father. So there's two things for me on this thing. I believe it was more of the man that he was portraying, how he felt like he was a protector of his family, that he felt like in that moment, maybe he needed to protect his family. Do I agree with it, how he handled it? No. But I think he moved so quickly that I don't even think Jada knew what he was going to do. He moved quickly. He sat there, he pondered. I didn't see conversation happen. I just saw him get up and go and smack him. I don't think conversation took place. She could have said, Will, don't go up there. Or maybe she thought, and I'm hoping that she thought maybe it was a joke. But it wasn't. It was truth. But this is where, for me, it goes deeper. So, some of y'all gonna get it, some of you not, but this is who I am. Take it or leave it. Real quick. Do y'all know the name of his tour? You know what Chris Rock's tour name is? No, you don't. Let me school you. The tour that he just now went on is called Ego Death.
Which was in place before this night.
Exactly. The reason why I say that,
you think
some things you speak no. Some things you speak into your own life. Some things you speak. Watch the words that come out of your mouth. You created a tour called ego death, have all these jokes, but really your ego just got killed for real.
I like that perspective.
Your ego, and that's how I see. And who it so happened it had to be Will that did it to you, one of the greatest. That's very respected. I think this was deeper than that. I mean, it was deeper in that level, that sense of now Chris is trying to process it. I think Chris should say to him, thank you, because now his things are sold out. Before then, it was not. His tours were not sold out. They are now sold out.
And he ate the punch. And he ate the slap too. So why not? He about to get paid. He ate it.
Now he about to get paid. He getting paid.
Yeah,
He's getting paid.
It was nothing. Turned his stand. He ate it. So it was nothing.
Thank you, Will. That's what I would say. And you just spoke it to yourself, but you spoke it into your to existence. And now that you spoke it in existence, you have to eat with your words. And now you eating your words, but guess what? Your words just got you paid too. So that's just how I see it, guys.
I do like that, Lakeith, but there's only one problem with that.
If there's a problem at all.
I'm going to show you. He didn't necessarily know that Jada was going to appear. So if Jada stays home, your whole theory falls apart.
It's not about that. That's what I'm saying. There's no theory on this. It is what it is. Anytime your words create situations. You know,
right. What she's saying is manifestation
or
so
bad.
It had nothing to do with
your
the joke.
Words speak.
She's saying regardless of whether
a situation. And there you go.
I understand that, but what I'm
even about that. And then on top of it, a lot of times when I see situations that happen on a greater scale like this was on a great scale here, guys, at the Oscars, right? Remember when all the thing came out with the popes, not the pope, but the bishops that that were molesting all the young men and this and all the lawsuits that were coming out. The same time the Me Too movement came out, where all the women was like, saying like all these executives and stuff was touching them and this and that. All that was also happening at a lower level scale, nation, like citywide, countrywide, just when things like that happen, that is also happening within our black on black crime. That was black on black crime right there. We got so much black on black crime happening. We thinking because it's Hollywood that it ain't gonna touch there. No, that's how the level of black on black crime is going on right now. See, I look at things at a deeper level. It's like we are. If you don't now, Chris Rock. His brother said he has 10 brothers. I promise you, I believe every time a brother see him, he gonna probably smack the mess out of him because that's what gonna try. Right.
They're gonna provoke him or
there's so much black on black crime that's going on. So I just think it's just a level. These are just things of what's going on in our communities that we're not talking about. How many shootings are taking place that we killing each other?
See, and that's the whole thing. It takes something to this level of magnitude, but this shit happens every day. This shit happens on a regular basis. Absolutely. You can walk out and it happens right across the street and you see this stuff going on. But we just get in our car and keep it moving and don't say anything, whatever. So it always has to be this person of certain stature to get our attention. And
that's why people trying to justify it. That's why people trying to justify it. But I was gonna point out, I was watching a video. I should have posted it in the group this week. There was a story that came out when you guys were talking about how she's still in love with Tupac and all that stuff. There was a story. They did this whole story on Will and Jada and how they got together. She never wanted to marry Will. Her mother made her marry Will because she was pregnant. She never wanted, even when she was pregnant, she never wanted to marry Will. And the mother made her marry him because, like y'all saying, she was still in love with Tupac. Whatever relationship she said they had or didn't have, there was something more to it. And they even showed a letter that her little daughter wrote to Tupac saying, I know you're still alive and I need you to come back and make my mommy happy because my mommy is so sad and miserable. And she would be so happy. We would both be happier if you came back. And this was the little girl writing this. So imagine this little girl, maybe 6, 7 years old. Tupac wasn't even around when she was before she was born,
And she
when
have
was
a whole
born.
daddy.
So she had to be hearing something in that house from her mother for her to write a letter that intense to a dead person. She had to be hearing something from her mother to let her know that I'm in love with this man and I'm so miserable because he's no longer here. Because she wasn't even born when Tupac was alive and around.
Yeah.
All right, I want to give Ed a chance to say something and Anita a chance to say something about this topic.
I agree
Anita can
with
go.
everybody. Everybody has, some good insight. From my perspective, I think it was unintentionally provoked, but I think Will was that was the straw that broke the camel's back. I didn't recognize it as black on black crime, so to speak, but I don't know if it was somebody other than Will Smith, like somebody that wasn't African American, if that would have happened. I So I think that everybody has a breaking point, and just because this was a public thing, it got really blown up because it's Hollywood. And I really don't think that he should be canceled in anything because nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. I think it was in the heat of the moment and he just wasn't really thinking straight. That's all.
Ed,
Y'all
you
ready
want
for
to chime
me?
in? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say this first off, before I say anything else, because I've heard so many people saying something that I don't agree with. I do not agree that he should be canceled or nothing like that. He's still a good guy. You can't cancel 30 years of great work this man has done. Okay. I mean, and look how he has rose up the ranks. I mean, he started out as a rapper, then he got into TV, and then he did movies, and then, he's this mega star now. Well, up until last weekend. And even with that, I don't think his career is over at this point, at least. But this is going to be a regrouping period. Okay, he's going to have to really get some counseling or something. He's going to have to catch himself because that was just a slap. Suppose the next time he shoots somebody because they disrespected his wife. See what I'm saying? Because that whole idea, I got to defend my family. I mean, there's a way to do anything, especially when there's no immediate threat. Okay? First off, the joke that Chris told, it was not an insulting joke. It was actually a compliment. That's why so many people did laugh, including Will at first. Okay? But then he saw that look on her face, and then she kind of looked at him in a certain way. And what I saw, especially since I've seen other angles and stuff since then, what I saw, she gave him that look that women give their man. And he figured, if I don't get up right now, I'm going to regret it tonight. So he went up there.
I gave her a look and said, "This ain't the time and place. Like, fix your face. Fix your face. Right now. Fix your face. Fix your face."
I know that's right. That's what he should have gave her.
Looking at her like, if I don't get up and do something, she's going to make my life miserable.
Yep.
So, but a woman that really cared about him, especially on that night, this is the pinnacle of his career.
Right.
He's about to win the highest award that can be given to a dude, black or any other color.
Mm-hmm.
And for her to let him get up and mess it up like that, I mean, a real woman who really cared about him, I believe, in my opinion, she would have said, "Baby, no, sit down." Instead, she's sitting there getting popcorn, grinning and crying. If you look at the other videos with the other angles, she's giggling while he's walking up there after he smacks, when Chris says what he says and when he sat down. She was giggling the whole time.
Yeah.
See? She did not look like no woman that was distressed. And that whole, oh, he was protecting his wife. Protecting her from what? It was a joke. Yes, it was a bad, off-color joke. And people, well, you know, she got that disease. First of all, it's not a terminal disease. I know a lot of women that have that disease. There's a lot of men that have that same issue. I call it age. Because you get older, you lose your hair.
Well, that's
a
not
lot
age.
of women going
That's
through
not
that.
age. That's the autoimmune disease. So I want you to understand that.
She didn't have it when she was younger. I think it's because she's getting
You can
older.
have
But that's
alopecia from
another
the
thing
time you're
altogether, a
born.
whole nother show.
Yeah,
The point
that's a
is,
medical
You
debate
can have
because
alopecia from the time
there's
you're
a
born.
whole lot of
every
women that have alopecia. I understand. I'm not arguing that. That's not the point. That's not what I'm talking about. There's a lot of
yeah,
women
but
that
I
have
don't want us to
alopesia.
be
I'm pretty sure there's a lot
dismissive
of
about an
famous women that
autoimmune
have
disease.
alopecia, but you wouldn't know it because they're wearing wigs.
That's not no. I think
No,
we're
ain't nobody dismissing nothing. I'm not dismissing it. Let me finish.
Yeah, coming out here with the
Okay?
smoke.
Like I said,
Real
there's a
talk.
lot of celebrities out there that have that, and they're wearing wigs. But let me finish the point, and then you can argue. You know, the thing is, if you're going to talk about being insulted because of a disease that Chris probably didn't even know, because most of the world didn't even know she had it until it was mentioned afterwards. And don't give me the, oh, well, she talked about it all the time on her show. How many people watches her show? How many men watches her show? Think about it. Her show is not as popular as you might think. There's a whole lot of men, a lot of celebrities did not know. A lot of them. Okay? There's a lot of comedians that was like, I never knew. I thought she just cut her hair. A lot of people thought that she was just cutting her hair. And like you had mentioned earlier, her hair has been short a long time. Most people did not know that she had no alopecia. They just thought that's just what she did.
I didn't know.
And so when he made the comment, it was a joke. Okay, and it wasn't
we have to be,
it was one of those off-the-cuff
a
jokes.
little bit more
But
sensitive.
like I said, it was a bad joke. But
we only can do one at a time.
Worthy
We only
of
can do
getting
one at a time.
attacked. Do you
We have to be a little
realize?
bit more. We have to
No,
be
we
a little
don't.
bit more sensitive about.
Not when we're a comedian.
If a person, if
Not when we're a
a
comedian, we
comedian
don't.
gets attacked.
So when Chad, all these people were joking about Chadwick Boseman and his weight fluctuating, going up and down, and that man was privately going through chemo.
Yeah.
So that's a health condition that he can't control. We can't be so.
Yeah, comedians don't have to go. Let's think about it. If every comedian was can I get my point out, please?
I think you have, but you've had a lot of things that weren't correct.
Sensitive.
You've had a lot of things that wasn't
very
correct.
valid, but where it's
All right, hold on. Let me throw this in. Let me throw this in there right quick. Then
You don't go through chemo for alopecia. That's not cancer.
let me throw this in there.
Let me say this.
Doing hypotheticals now. That's not what we're talking about.
Someone who dealt with chemo and radiation induced my alopecia to a medical alopecia
because it attached.
And that's how I lost my hair
your immune
because
system,
of the autoimmune deficiency in my body, and the breakdown of my system pushed me right into alopecia.
So when we are ignorant on topics,
medical
we have to be quiet.
As much as I don't want to dismiss the fact that it's a medical condition, it is a disease. It's a medical condition. Anything that's autoimmune is a disease. It's just like lupus. It's just like
Graves' disease.
It's an autoimmune deficiency disease. Graves' disease, all of that. Now, do I agree with you that everyone may have not known because her red table is not that popular? Okay,
absolutely.
And I get it. Everyone is not. Jada is not a great taste in everyone's mouth. Let's just say that. Okay, so everyone is not going to watch her like that. Okay, I get what you're saying, but I don't want to dismiss the fact about the disease. Do I think that Chris was making a joke pertaining to the disease? No, not at all.
No, absolutely
I don't
not.
think he was.
And I think that's the bigger issue, that his intent wasn't about that. So if you know somebody's intent is not driven toward that way, that's when you have to say, I don't think they meant it like that.
Right,
so
and
you
But
that's
don't.
has
completely
anyone
fine.
That
taken
too.
it? Hi, everybody. Has anyone
Hold on.
taken into
Go ahead,
account?
Solar.
I'm
Go ahead.
just trying to chime in. I'm hearing y'all,
Go
and
ahead.
excuse me because I don't want to overtalk anyone because I've listened. You guys
Yeah,
have had a
because
great
I
great
don't
conversation.
It's your
really
time
don't
now.
believe
Go
he's
ahead, Solar.
that kind of guy. I don't think he would do nothing like.
Yet we cannot dismiss a few things when you're talking about the two of Will and when you're talking about Chris. They're friends. They have history. They have a history of him telling him, like, leave my wife alone from the last time the awards came around. So there's been a lot of conversation that has been omitted that people are ignoring. And as Black men, I think it was time to say, yo, you did this once for the same award. You have had other things to say, and we've had conversation off stage.
Yeah,
So
go ahead
leave
while I
her out
reload.
of it. So no, they've had conversation, and that's public. The other part is, if you look at his smile, I was kind of laughing at you, but I wasn't laughing with you. So I guess it's a statement of opinion how we view people's posture. It may be funny to just because you said it, but it's not funny knowing where it comes from. And if two Black men have an understanding, I think that they should uphold that. That's honorable.
So if
It
she didn't have alopecia, would have been a funny joke, because I don't think the joke was that bad, really. If that was
It
me,
wasn't
I
about the
don't think
joke.
about
It
the
was about the
alopecia.
respect of his wife and them having a history of him having something to joke
yeah,
about
I
his wife,
understand that,
knowing
but
what their
from my
relationship had
perspective,
gone
I
through.
didn't think the joke was that bad.
How
Like,
would you feel if somebody joked about a relationship that you was working to save
How
publicly,
but
but
how
you
he
omit
he
that fact so
wasn't
they don't
joking
how
think
is
about
it
the
about that? They're
relationship.
respect?
friends.
He just said something
Hold
about
up,
GI
people.
Jane because she had a short haircut. That was my understanding of the joke.
All right, let
So if
me
she
jump
didn't
in here
have
and see if I can.
alopecia, would the joke have had gone over a little better? I think it
No,
would.
either
Like,
way, it wasn't about that. I don't think it really was about the joke for most people.
I don't
What
either.
it was the fact that, one, we have become a desensitized community. So no, once the people started coming out saying, well, she has alopecia, it was dismissed. And that should never be dismissed. We see Jada, she is a beautiful woman. She holds herself as if she's the most confident woman. We do not know what goes on with that woman in private. So we cannot dismiss anything that she may cry to deal with her husband. We also don't know of, just like Solar said, the relationship between him and Chris, the conversations that have happened or hadn't happened. I was one that didn't know she had alopecia before this. I thought from what I remember, she's always had a shortcut. I'm not saying that's absolute. I'm just saying from what I remember, that's always been her hairstyle. It was nothing new to me. But the fact of the matter is, it was done in poor taste. It was, and when I say it was done in poor taste, I'm more so coming at Will. That was done in poor taste. A comedian's job is a comedian's job. But once you learn as the comedian that you messed up, there is a time to be sensitive. There is a time to apologize.
Oh yes, we do. But she lets us know.
Let me
the
drop.
joke so bad to me that I interpret it as of the joke as GI Jane being a Black GI Jane. Like, that's all. I didn't look any further or analyze it any further than what I felt like it was.
That's valid. But if you guys, nobody knows what somebody is going through on the inside. So somebody can compliment me and say to me, oh my gosh, the way the sun just hit your skin was so beautiful. Inside, I can be internally dealing with the complexion of my skin, and that may bother me. So once I let the person who made that comment, compliment, or whatever statement that they have done, and it hurts me, it is up to them as a human to say, oh my gosh, I did not
Exactly.
know
That's the way I
what you
saw
were
it.
dealing with. I want to uplift you in this moment because that wasn't my intention. And that's what we need to focus on more than whether it was a good joke or a bad joke. We can't call it. We weren't the subject of the joke.
Okay. Okay. Now.
All right, let me hold on. Let me
let's
jump in here.
start
Let me
this
jump in
way.
here and drop a few things in. One, nobody said anything when later in the show, Wanda Sykes made a comment about LeBron James' headline. Okay. Two, This was about Black culture being put on display for everybody to see and understand what we've been talking about for decades. 3, there was a question that was asked on a popular YouTube content creator, and this was the question. He said, has Jada's behavior earned Will Smith fighting for her? There were 3 choices that were to be chosen from. 1, yes, she's been an honorable wife. 2, no, she repeatedly embarrassed him. 3, doesn't matter how she acts, fight.
As I
87, 87.
he did not
Hold on. 87.
In fact, I'm quite
Hold on, Ed. Hold on. 87% of the over 8,000 respondents required no, she embarrassed him repeatedly. These are people who have nothing to gain by Will Smith's actions. What we are looking at is Black culture being put out in front of the world to judge. And Dr. Tiasan Johnson, the professor out of Fresno who studies African economist studies from a Black male perspective, talks about proxy violence. And we see that jails are filled with Black men who have fallen into this kind of trap, who have get a battery put in their back to go and fight for their mate's feelings, not realizing that they put themselves in jeopardy and their livelihoods in jeopardy. And that was what Shaughnessy had mentioned earlier when she was speaking. We never look at the totality of something. We only look at things in such a small box that we fail to grasp the larger repercussions of it.
I can agree with that. I just disagree. I just don't want ever there to be a time that as human beings we dismiss something that someone has no control over. And at the moment, we all joke, we make jokes, I get it. It's a career. We buy tickets, we go to these shows. However, if I'm in a position where I tell you, you hurt me, or society now knows that this has hurt her being an honorable wife, her being a prostitute, her being the best wife in the world does not matter. She is a human being. She has a medical condition that she cannot control, and she was hurt by it. So at that point, yes, do I think before the whole slap situation, it would have been right for Chris Rock to apologize? Yes. Was Will Smith wrong for handling it?
I believe that what was going on with that is go ahead.
I just feel like all parties could have handled it differently. I don't think Chris Rock got an opportunity to handle it differently, but I feel that Jada should have stood behind her man, which clearly we know that she doesn't do. I feel like now that we know it is a medical condition, what she's done with August, how she does Tupac, that has nothing to do with it. She has a medical condition she can't control. And Will Smith, he needs therapy.
Will is not innocent.
He
folks.
did speak
Will
out for
has
therapy.
had
I think
side
he's been very
pieces.
open
Exactly.
Will has had side pieces. As much as everybody want to keep condemning Jada, Will had his pieces too. Okay, we just ain't had discussions about that. But the only thing I'm saying,
I think that's the key thing is he's not, putting that stuff out there like that.
Thank you.
That's the key point.
Yeah, that's the key thing. He may have done it, but he's done like any of our grandfathers, uncles, or whatever. You had the woman on the other side of town. You ain't discussed it. She's openly discussed it. And then they had a table where him and her sat at, and she said entanglement. And I remember that interview. He looked at her and said, no, say what it is.
Right.
Okay. So my thing is she's emasculating him in the midst of having infidelity. That's a huge difference. On top of
that's very true.
She has emasculated him. If you go back and look at their interviews they did with Oprah, the interviews they did on talk shows, she has emasculated him, corrected his verbiage, his language, everything in front of
because she does not want to be married to him.
Right. She didn't want to be married to him. He wasn't the one for her. Her true love was Tupac. And she's emasculated that man on several occasions. Is it okay? No. Now I got my own little rough, down low ghetto girl thought process where I like, how could you honor somebody who don't honor you? You smacking somebody with somebody who don't even honor you. So you know, you got my family member be like, she's always been a trap.
Will has to understand also, like I'm the big fish in this, whatever. So you can't let
It was all money.
get to you like that, especially when you're the big dog. So and I understand this is his wife and all that stuff, but to let her take the ability to take money off the table and all
Yeah,
that stuff, and then you talk about Tupac and all that, he's dead, so you have to move on. There'll be no one else like him. There might be people who emulate him. I mean, I'm sorry
was
if I'm
one
making as
guy.
much money as him. I'm gonna find a way through this without taking money off my table.
And I don't know. I'm not in competition with no dead man. You could love him all you want. We could celebrate him every birthday, every anniversary of his death. He dead. He can't compete with me. Like he can't.
And I think that's a far fetch. I think the bigger picture that I looked at with the whole situation is the fact that it was two black men who had to settle something that was private publicly. And the world that we live in today, chivalry, you want to say, is it dead? Is it alive? But I think when two black men, and I got to keep saying this, have had a conversation and understanding and deemed themselves as friends, where does loyalty lie? Willie, how you doing? I think I remember a post where
Okay.
you have actually talked about the controversy of how men can be very, I guess, disrespectful to friends. Whether we look at it and we know the full story, those two have done too many shows together as black men, too many tours. There are pictures of them hugged up, so to speak, as black brothers, and that's his wife. At the end of the day, after the last time he said something about his wife, he could have omitted that joke. He never had to choose that joke. The comedians also have a right to say they don't want to say things. I think we let people off the hook with the responsibilities. Oh, yeah, he's a comedian. Damn, is he funny? Maybe. But does he have to say everything that a white person write for him, knowing the relationship and the state of mind of Will Smith? And we're living in a day and age where state of mind, people's mentality, I don't care how rich, poor, or in between you think you are. I've seen too many videos and everybody can act like they ignore it. Will Smith then cried because of what he's gone through. He has cried and wrote a book. He has released every part of him as a black man to publicly say, dude, I'm messed up. I got some childhood traumas I'm still dealing from. Yo, Chris Rock done heard all of that. Whether we want to admit it or not, we omit mental health is real. So that was what I saw. A mental health moment where a black man has said, dag nabbit, enough is enough. And I don't know if it's about my wife or another black man who know my situation and still chose to make a joke out of it, whatever scenario it was, when he didn't have to.
And the truth is,
Okay, now I
that
got
was Will's
something to
night too. That was Will's night too. Like, why leave him alone? It's his night. It's not a roast.
We also have to understand too. It depends on the situation. If it was somebody else different who was built different, whatever, Will wouldn't have did anything. He would have got his ass roasted at home.
He sure wouldn't have. He
Whatever
wouldn't
when he
have
got
stepped up
home,
there.
he wouldn't have did that. So also time and situation and who the person is also, which made him have those actions.
I'm gonna say a little. Go ahead.
Well, bottom line for me, I feel this way. If I ask somebody not to say something because I have an issue or my family have an issue and they continue to do it, then I have nothing else to do with that person. There's no justification getting up. Like I said earlier, there are people in jail right now, prison right now, for getting up and taking out their actions physically against a person. I don't care what somebody says to me, I just know if that person is saying things to provoke me or hurt my feelings or hurt my family's feelings, that person I need to be avoiding. Next time I see him, I have nothing to say to him. But to walk up on that stage and put my hands on him, that's crossing the line. He should have went to jail. And Chris Rock did a favor for him. That was a real friend. Because he said no, because the police asked him, did he want to press charges? And he said no. I would have said, put his ass in jail. Put him in jail, and he'll see my lawyer when he get out, because I'm about to sue his ass.
Dude, which one of the black men are you? Now I'm questioning which one are you, the friend or the foe? You knew your friend in trouble, you put him in jail? That's that.
Black manhood. My black manhood said just what I just said. It ain't got nothing to do with being a black man. Say,
I'm talking about loyalty. If that's your friend, though, you would still do that knowing his mental state? That's your
doesn't
friend.
matter. Apparently,
Why
it
not?
doesn't matter.
It does.
It
It
doesn't
does.
matter.
That
He
let
did
me
not
yo.
say anything that bad for him to walk up on that stage.
No, we're
You
not saying
crossed the
that. We're
line
not
of
saying that.
loyalty.
No. We're
So
not
you think
saying.
You
so?
crossed the line of loyalty,
Well,
and
you
at
know
the
what?
rate,
Don't
okay,
question my
get off
black
of them two.
manhood
Would you?
because I said I would put him in
Listen,
jail.
No.
Don't
So I
question
one
my
at a
black
Like, why
time,
you
manhood.
one
gotta
at
be
a
asking,
Don't
time.
question my black manhood because I'm a
I
definite
did,
black man.
and I
Willie,
did,
I'm a
so
and I
definite
did,
black
and I do it
man. I know
again,
you
So
did,
Willie,
but that's
and I
okay.
did.
That's
Willie,
okay.
Willie, I do not agree with your point, but I'm not questioning your black manhood.
I
Thank
did
you.
it.
Yeah, but you gotta
I know
remember
you did,
that
but that ain't
that
nothing new.
what my opinion on it is, if there's a friend, and this doesn't have to be the Will and Jada moment, it can be anything. Let's just say you and a buddy are out at the bar with a couple of friends or whatever, y'all joking around, laughing around or whatever. You know for a fact he is having a hard time at home, family, kids, whatever the case may be. This man is going through it. He decided to come out with you guys tonight. He had one too many beers. You said something slick that usually would have been a laugh, chuckle. This night, he decided to hit you with a left jab. This is your friend, though. And you know that this left jab would have never come to you had he not had these home issues. You would have still pressed charges on him.
I sure would have. You
Okay.
put
You
your
know,
hands
I
on me.
Wait,
think
You
now
I
put
see
think
your
the
hands
this.
on me,
reason
you
that
going
I
to
really
jail.
hold on.
You
The
put your
reason
hand
that I
on
was
me,
actually
going to
giving you
jail. I don't
respect,
care anything.
Willie,
But the thing
Willie,
is,
be
I'm not
honest
a
with you.
comedian. I'm not a comedian, and I'm not paid to tell jokes. That's what
But
he was
you,
doing. He told a joke
but
about
Willie,
G.I.
this is where we
Jane.
talk about
He didn't
influencers.
say anything particular. Like I said, he's talking G.I. Jane. Once you question my manhood, don't call my name. You ain't got nothing to say to me.
First of all, I
So,
wasn't
but
questioning
anyway,
your manhood. I said
Right.
as black
Get
brothers.
right.
all,
Well,
So
anyway,
since you
all
getting
right,
all,
all right.
yo, for
why
real,
y'all
Keep
get all
your comments
wow.
to the show. Don't talk to me. Keep your comments to the show.
I keep my comments where I choose to, and I didn't question your manhood. That's the
Well, you
problem.
heard what
I
I
said
said.
your
You
blackness
heard
as a
what I said.
loyalty.
You heard
You
what
do.
I
You
said.
can calm yourself down. You feeling yourself? How
You
about
heard
that?
what I said. Keep your
why
comments. Thank you.
y'all like?
Thank
Oh
you.
my God!
Really? Like, Will,
That's right.
really?
There's some behind the scenes shit with that, but we're gonna leave that alone.
Oh my God, Willie, not
Yeah.
a Willie moment already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's some behind. She know
Can
what
we
the
go
deal
to
is.
the next
She
talking
know what the
point?
deal is.
See, this is
That
this
shit
is
straight.
why y'all shouldn't expect anything different from anybody else. They just got money, because even at this lower level, can't even have a damn conversation without people dropping out and just getting personal.
their
We're just having a
feelings.
conversation. God damn.
Well, that
Look,
is
come here.
the deflection. What
Ain't
I'm
no
saying
black
with
man.
not having healthy adult
Exactly.
communication. You should be able to dialogue healthy without even.
And
This show should
disagree,
never
like
be
That's
attacked
right.
on any.
And I can have a conversation, but you start talking about you ain't a
Yeah,
black
it should-
man and all this old
It
nonsense.
should never be
That
attacked
ain't
on
got nothing to do
anyone's
with this.
character at all.
I
Thank
think
you.
you
I
misunderstood
didn't tag
her,
nobody's
Will. I
character.
think you misunderstood her, Will.
I don't think
No,
I
that
think
ain't
it
no
was worded. I
misunderstanding.
think it was worded incorrectly. I don't think that's what she said is not how she meant it.
It
I
was
don't.
worded
I don't. I
Okay,
think
incorrectly.
it
Will.
was.
Okay,
I
Will
think it was
and Chris.
misunderstanding, Will.
Okay.
But
Okay, Will and
I
Chris.
just think that I think
No
for the most part
misunderstanding.
we share each
Well,
other's.
she heard what I
sentiments.
said. I didn't misunderstand what I said.
Just one last thing on this. When we bring about race and stuff, I get it. Black on black
That's
crime
what
is
I'm
a
saying.
thing. Blah blah blah. Black this, black loyalty. I feel like we care too much about what these fucking white people think and how they feel. These motherfuckers have the same level of drama, bullshit, meth heads, crack heads, baby daddies this, baby daddies that. All of that. No, it's not no black culture. It's not no, they just quiet about their bullshit, and they just have people that'll push them ahead, get them out of a lot of stuff, and we don't know it. But these people have the same amount of drama,
I
if
agree,
not more
Shani.
than us. So
I
the
agree,
whole
and we
narrative
also
of black people, blah blah blah, in front of white people, blah blah blah. Leave that alone.
And I also think that we can't use this black loyalty card whenever you want to use it, and you any other time in any other situation.
Exactly.
If you're gonna be authentic about your blackness, and this is not to anyone particularly, be authentic all the way around from A to Z. Don't pick and choose when you want to have black loyalty.
So
okay?
when Pookie killed Day Day and we yelling free Pookie, we need to be the same black loyalty.
Hello.
For
And we're
everybody.
not. So,
Exactly.
or when you encouraging a sister or demoting or discouraging or down talking another sister to another sister, it's the
black
same
loyalty.
thing. It's black loyalty.
Black
Hello.
loyalty.
Hello.
Oh, listen. when we had these conversations, it's nothing more or less like, I mean, I look at the whole situation, I'm like, damn, but I'm not gonna get caught up in Will and Jada and all of them shit. They got money on top of money, whatever.
Right.
And I don't even
And
like
our broke asses arguing and falling out over
it really doesn't make. I looked at it, okay, he got the shit slapped out of him. Oh well, like keep it moving. But to internalize it again, and like I said, Melvin across the street just smacked the shit out of somebody that you knew, and you like, damn.
Thank you.
And you went to work and they would never mention it again.
Yeah.
But
It's another day in the
this is
hood,
we
right?
need to stop. And this is why we can't stop stuff on the lower level, because we're too worried about shit that ain't got nothing to do with us, and they're at a different level. It ain't going to impact them. It ain't. They're going to be all right. All of them.
Tom and Jack in their $700 million houses are fucking throwing dog shit on each other's yard and have the same type of drama, setting each other pools on fire. They're just white, and their shit costs a lot more. And they got insurance claims versus going to jail.
You tell them, shawty. You tell them.
All right, I'm done on this subject, though.
Yeah, we're gonna get off this subject and we're gonna move on to something a little lighter. After we done ran a couple people off. But this was happening in the Counselor's Corner. This is what happened.
You got this. Listen, you got to be able to survive on this. This ain't for the weak.
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you, Lakia,
This ain't for the weak.
Hello. You gotta be.
I love Monday
you
night.
gotta be vocally and mentally strong to be.
I know that's right. I love Monday nights. Monday nights is the joint. Make my week start off right.
The hell with Will. The hell with Jada, because she had her shit cut off and set it off, and that was years ago when I was in college. She was bald-headed. So let's just keep it moving. And I ain't trying to be insensitive on that, but I'm just saying. I just threw that point out. But I am the controversial counselor, so I get a pass on it.
Amen.
So, moving to something else. After a breakup, have you ever given a person a second chance? Because I know many of you, like I said in the introduction, I don't go back.
Jesus.
I don't want, I just move forward and all that stuff. Stop. You may not you may not let people know that you go back, but many people do. They go
I am
back.
famous for spinning the block. I will say that. I don't spin the block many times. I spin the block. I definitely don't spin the block. I spent the block with my kid's father. We broke up honestly, when I was pregnant with my son, we actually weren't together. And then right before my son turned 2, we were back together, and they had another baby. I spin the block. I don't know. I don't know.
I've only done it once. I was 24. I learned my lesson. Never did it again. Never will I.
So what was your lesson? I'm curious because I still ain't learned mine.
So what made you say I'll never do it again?
Because generally let me speak for myself, and I try not to do this because it really doesn't work for other people when I speak about me, because I realize I'm really a very unique person. But what I found out is that the principles that underwrite whatever reason for the dissolution occurred, they never changed. And we all have our own unique pathologies, for lack of a better term. We are who we are at our core. And generally, when two people go their ways, it's a fundamental understanding that they're not going to be able to make it in the way that's going to be beneficial for both parties. That's usually the dissolution of a relationship. It doesn't matter whether it's business, personal, romantic, or friends. There's a fundamental difference that's a break, and both parties are better off. When I made that decision to get back with the individual, It was more, okay, I think I can overlook this and overcome it till I realized that I couldn't. That's when I said, okay, you know what? I'm never going to make this error again. I'm never going to go down this path and go against the principles that have brought me to this point in my life. And I think, especially for men, we have to be governed more by principles, because once you govern by principles and you set those principles in stone and you follow those principles are going to keep you on the straight and narrow. I know for a lot of men, particularly those who don't have fathers, we're not reared to have principles and to stick to them. We're reared to give people a second chance. We're always told by our mothers or some other female, oh, give her another shot, or she wasn't this or she wasn't that. And it turns out to never work the way that the man needs it to work. So I would advise any man that if you get in a situation to where you feel you have to walk away from a relationship, don't turn back unless you want to be like Lot's wife and turn to a pillar of salt, or be like Lot's wife and turn to a pillar of salt.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Wow.
That's a lot.
Wow. Wow.
That
Wow.
was a lot of nonsense. But okay. That
Go
makes
ahead,
sense to
Lakia.
you?
Go ahead,
That makes
lovable
sense.
Lakia.
Go ahead, Lakia
lovable.
Paris.
I'm just saying, like, come on. You know, people grow, things change, people evolve, and sometimes you gonna make some mistakes in life, and then some people learn from those mistakes and some people don't. So I don't think it's an absolute, Herb, that some people you can't give a second chance to. There are some you can't, and then there's some you can. I have heard of some relationships where they have broken up and then years later come back together. They've grown up, they and learned some things in life, experienced the other side where they thought the grass was greener, and like, listen, the grass wasn't greener, my bad. I think I've shared many a times on this show, a while ago, I would say, stay open. Stay open. Don't get into a space where you're not forgiving, because you need forgiveness. I'll speak for myself. I need forgiveness. I'm not perfect. So because of my imperfection, I'm hoping that someone, because I give, mercy, that mercy will come back to me. That's my hope. So that's what
Let
I'm
me
saying.
jump in
Like,
here.
I'm going to say, yes, I have gone back, just to answer the question. I have gone back and dated people, giving them second, third, fourth, fifth chances. Yes, I have. And you know why? Because I loved that person. I loved him, and I loved him, and I thought he loved me, and I think he did. It's just, I don't know. It just didn't work, and that's not the only. I've done it plenty of times. And because you really want to keep hope alive. Sometimes it works, sometimes it does not. But that's okay. It's life. That's all I'm saying.
Let me drop this little
Usually when
gem in
it
here.
doesn't, even when you go back, it's always going to be something that it doesn't work out. So, and that's the case. And I was in a situation, actually I was in two. One was the stalker situation, which I don't even talk about no more. But the other situation was I was with somebody for literally 10 years on and off. We would break up, get back together, break up, get back together. And I love that person. I love that person. And to this day, I probably still love her. And I actually told her, I said, if we get back together one more time, I'm just going to go out and buy a ring and we're going to get married. And that's how, I'm tired of us breaking up and getting back together. And
that sounds toxic. That sounds toxic.
But you know what? We end up getting back together. I went out and I bought her a ring and I proposed to her.
And it still didn't work.
It didn't work. Get this. I bought her a ring. 2 days later, she called me and said, you didn't give me the kind of ring that I wanted. This is not the kind of ring that I wanted.
Fundamental difference.
It made me realize no matter what I would do,
I just said it was toxic.
She's never going to be happy. And that it made me realize when she said that, I said, no matter what I do, she wanted a certain kind of ring. I bought her a ring. I bought her a platinum diamond ring. That was beautiful. But she didn't realize platinum was better than the ring that she wanted until somebody told her later what she said to me. and then they told her that ring was better. But by that time, I was already done with her. And but it made me realize that no matter what I would do for what I would ever do for her she would never be satisfied. And so, like I said, I love her and cared about her, and but I realized then that, because I kept saying we keep breaking up, getting back together. I said it must be meant for us to be together. I said, if we get back together again, I'm gonna go out, buy a ring, we're gonna get married, because I'm tired of this bull. And when we got back together, I went and bought the ring. 2 days later, she called me and told me that. I said, nope, give me the ring back, go on about your business. And that was the last time we spoke, I believe.
And that's precisely my point. See, the problem with your stance, Lakia, is you're ignoring the first thing that we discussed. Will has given Jada multiple chances only to be
We're not
kicked.
about to talk about them.
Hold on, no. I just want to make a point. I just want to make a point, Dave.
Do again. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to make a point.
Yeah.
She's talking about giving somebody multiple chances when Will has done that.
Will was a cheater too. Don't forget that part.
What has it gotten?
He had side pieces too. So
we don't know how many chances they have.
We
given
don't know.
Other.
He had side pieces as well. So how many times?
It doesn't matter who's giving who the second chance. All I'm simply saying is it doesn't work because there's a fundamental difference between the two. Take Jada. It doesn't matter. There's a fundamental difference that says that these two people should be apart. Period.
Now there is some people that don't need to be together, but they stay together because comfortability. Maybe because they have so much money tied in with each other.
And then maybe you were
they have children. That has been going on for years.
And listen, this is the one thing I can say about Sir Tice that he always say. We need to stop using these people as damn examples in our lives. And that's the one thing he always talk about. I think that's what we get caught up with.
Because money is a very different thing. I think relationships last much longer when you have money, when you're traveling, when you don't have to be in each other's space every single day.
Actually, contrary to the popular belief, the more money you make, the less you divorce. It's the people on the lower economic end of the scale who actually divorce more because there's not as much money involved. Oh,
that's exactly what I was saying. I think that with these people that are in Hollywood, because just imagine like a regular, even when you talk to people that have truck drivers for mates or pilots for mates, people that travel a lot, they have a lot of time to miss their people. They have a lot of time to be by themselves and want their space to be full with their person versus us. Most people, we come home to the same person every single day and we're tired of them a lot quicker. So I just think, and then again, they always say this quote, you rather cry broke or cry rich. And I mean, crying in the Maybach on a shopping spree on a yacht is better than crying in my...
I know that's right. You tell him, Shaughnessy.
Oh,
okay. I know that's right. Tell him, Shaughnessy. Crying my wine, crying my champagne.
I'm just saying.
Wine your box of wine.
Listen, there was been folks out here crying for like this little paychecks.
Go ahead, real talk. Go ahead, let real talk get his word in.
Who's real talk? Oh.
As I had heard before about that, related to that Maybach thing, I've heard that it's better to cry in a Maybach with a glass of champagne than on the bus with a beer.
Right.
The bus with a beer. Bad business.
So.
I agree with Lakia.
For instance, when Will was talking about the whole crying and all that other kind of stuff, first of all, what is the biggest thing he got to worry about every day? He got to worry about what car he going to drive today. Am I going to drive the Maybach or the Bentley? And then you say, I'll drive the Bentley. Okay, so which one am I going to drive? The blue one, the purple one, the black one? See, those are the issues he got to worry about every day. What Bentley he's going to drive, what Rolls he's going to drive. Those kind of issues is what he has to worry about. That's the kind of level he's at, okay? He doesn't have the same kind of issues that we have on the average, okay? He's in that top 1%, okay? He doesn't deal with the life the way we deal with it, see? And that's why the relationship thing is totally different with them as well, because they're on a different plane than we are. They're in a different world. Okay, everything is different with them. Because of the finances. Okay, and that's probably why they're still married. If they were just on a regular, if he was making $100,000 a year, they'd have been divorced. you know. But I believe that's why they're together, because of the money. Now Jada had her own money, but nowhere near what he has. Okay, and at the same time, I don't think he really wants to go get a divorce because check it out, she gonna get half his stuff. Okay, that man worth like what, 350 or more $1 million, and she can get half of that. I don't think he want to go nowhere. Cheaper to keep her kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, he loves her. Which is quite obvious.
So that's the thing. When we think about, when we had these conversations, we got to think about day-to-day situations where you have school counselors, realtors, people in the medical field, and you go through these things. We can't always use Hollywood as an example. We have to be able to talk about these things
because they're on a whole other plane than we are.
So
they don't worry about food and light bills and stuff like that. Those are the least. They don't worry about that stuff. They pay people to worry about that stuff for them. You see, so one thing they worry about, like I said, what car they gonna drive, or what outfit they gonna wear, or where they gonna go on their next vacation, or things of that nature. That's what they deal with on a regular basis. They don't deal with the kind of stuff we do. Even when they do movies and stuff, they only work on movies for what, a period of time, and then they might be doing nothing for 9 months.
So have you ever gave anybody a second chance? What's his name?
Off of Will.
Big talk, I think. Have you ever given anybody a second chance?
Because I'm really tired about talking about Will and Jada. Because we
I
can't.
agree.
That's your service.
I thought we was off that.
Have you given anybody
have I ever given somebody a second chance?
Yes.
Unfortunately, yes, on a few occasions. And yeah, I've done that a few times, and I've been married 3 times, and each one of those marriages I went back twice. Well, my first marriage I went back 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
But that's real.
But that was primarily because we had kids.
The
first wife we had kids.
Why he went back. There's reasons why he went back.
I went back 3 or 4
thinking,
times.
guys.
For a 14-year period, I kept going.
What are you sitting there thinking?
What you thinking about? You ain't supposed to be thinking. You supposed to be drinking. You ain't supposed to be thinking. You supposed to be drinking.
I never gave anyone a second chance.
Stop!
They still recovering from the first chance.
I'm literally sitting here thinking, like, have I dated somebody a second time after we broke up? I was like, no. I literally was going down my list, knowing that the list is only on my one hand, but I was like, no. So am I being forgiven?
I don't think it's necessarily not being forgiven.
Okay, let's formulate that question a little bit better, David. Can we do it like this? Okay, what do you mean a second chance as far as dating, or a second chance as far as a relationship?
Friendship, or
wouldn't that be different?
friendship.
Well, I would think relationship, whatever, other than
marriage.
Wouldn't it be different with a relationship compared to just dating?
So I've never
because you're dating somebody and then things don't work out. That's different than when you're in with somebody for a period of time.
Well, I would say a committed relationship.
I would say either one. I mean, I'm dating you and I'm done. I'm deuces. I don't feel the obligation to give you a second chance if I'm dating you.
What?
But if I'm in a relationship,
I've never had a relationship twice.
No, I don't.
Now I have spun the block, but I've never actually had a relationship twice.
Really?
Yeah, I definitely. So I'm spinning the block now, but
Stop.
I don't do relationships twice though.
Well, that's what I was talking about with the relationship, what I went through. Like I said, me and this person was for 10 years, 10 plus years, on and off.
No, I haven't. And somebody, it's funny because somebody just asked me about 3 weeks ago with me and my ex. Now that we're,
You're a block
different.
spinner, huh?
Huh? What you say? What you say? I didn't hear you.
We don't know.
Mr. Ed, was you talking to me?
I don't know, but we gonna move on because
Right,
I don't
yeah.
do this
Oh,
dead
okay.
silence because it's a lot. People got a lot to say. So
I think it depends though. Like some things are some things you can't come back from. And some things you can. Some things just because you break up and the relationship doesn't work out,
Oh no,
you
I didn't
guys
say
still
nothing.
maintain
That
a
wasn't
certain
me.
level of friendship.
That wasn't me.
But just because you
Me,
have
that
just because somebody may do something, or just like I forget what, I think it was Lakia that said there's always room for growth and improvement, and sometimes somebody grows, somebody improves. The things that they have done in the past are things that for a fact they've learned from. I don't know. I think it depends on what the person does, and you have to have a level of discernment to know what you're getting yourself into.
see, I always look at, and this is one of the questions, and I brought it up before, in counseling 101, the miracle question. Like, so people give people second chances. You ask this question: is your world better with or without that person? And you have to think about that, like in way the pros and cons, and say, damn, okay, because certain things you say, no, that's a done deal, but then you're basing it on whatever that situation was. But overall, you may say, damn, I miss this person, man. We had a lot of good times.
Good times and
We
fun
did a lot of
together.
things. Like, I'm miserable without this person in my life. So I think that's where that question is very relative. Like, is your world better with or without that person? If you say I'm miserable all the time with this person, you know the answer. But if you have pretty much an overall good time with this person and you feel great without other people making their comments, and you feel good about that person, then you may say, I'm willing to see what happens with it. That's just my take. Counseling
See, for me,
101.
I think it's a fun and a friendship thing for me. I didn't share this in the beginning, but I will share now. I am single.
I tried to see. Had to drop that news, yeah.
What?
Welcome to the single club.
What the hell that happened?
Yeah. See, you opened up a whole nother show topic.
No, I'm not.
What?
But we're gonna move right past that.
No, you can't move
people
past
ask
that. I
questions.
didn't just drop in there.
Questions.
We are gonna move right.
You
We're
can't
gonna move
drop
right
that.
past
You
it
can't
like
drop that information, Shaughnessy, without people wanting to ask questions.
All I'm gonna say is Sneaky Link.
Out of here.
All I'm gonna say is now we know why you didn't get the tracking information.
No, that has nothing to do with that. I actually found out that the person that I was with is married.
Oh wow.
Married to, I don't think they are actively together. But I wouldn't know because a liar's
How
a
long
liar.
y'all was together? How long y'all been together? For a minute, weren't y'all?
Damn.
2 years.
Wait a minute. This is recently?
Yeah, like last week, the week before.
Wow.
No, y'all know I kill people when it's a rat.
Just started to show off with that.
But it's still sad.
That is sad.
I didn't. He fumbled his ass, not me.
I know.
Yo, Shaughnessy gonna come back up. She gonna be all right.
I bet she will.
I know, because she's a strong woman, but still, it never
It's fine.
I just found out that somebody I know is divorced and now with somebody else already, and this woman had 4 kids for him, and it took her a long time to even have kids. That's just sad.
So what's the
mean,
problem?
you
He
know-
left and went to somebody else?
No, who
That's
me?
the problem?
Me?
No, not
No,
you.
she's
Another
talking about.
person.
She's talking
Oh.
about. I was talking
The
to
problem
Nakia.
is that after this woman had these kids for you, after she tried for years, and then you leave her to go be with another woman after she finally give you 4 kids.
I mean, there's flaws in the human race.
That's a different story.
It doesn't matter. It was just sad. That's all I said.
Oh, that's so sad. I'm sad. That is so sad. That is so sad.
It was just sad.
You ain't right, man.
So I was speaking on spinning the block though. I had to add that just because of the spin the block thing. So
wow,
I'm not upset about it only because
I'm upset.
When I decided to date this person, I decided that I was gonna date a different type of male. To be honest, and that different type of male was the one that went to work on a day-to-day basis, had a home front family, blah 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 blah. And what I figured, and I'm not going to go into this, but what I figured was a lot of these men do not possess the humility that they should. And with that being said, I've spun the block. And I am having fun so far.
Said a hot girl summer, huh, Shaughnessy?
Hot girl summer.
Well, I was gonna say, at least you got free and time to enjoy your summer. Because that is
it's a hot girl spring at this point.
And Shaughnessy, I say to you, just freely open date, leave your options open, and just
absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm leaving my options open too. I'm leaving my options.
Well, you don't even like to be
Willie having a hot man summer, huh?
That's right. I'm about to have me a hot man summer.
That question is just for Willie. You gonna date the same.
What?
You said
you don't want to be new people.
Midgets.
Not until it get warm. Not until it get warm.
Y'all funny. Yeah.
But no, I mentioned that to the point that the reason that I mentioned that was because to me there's a difference in spinning the block and going back and forth. The person that I am spinning the block with, I stopped dealing with him for no other reason than me and my children's father were getting back together to try our little family. Nothing other than that. But like with this current or this past current relationship, that's not something that I would be willing to try again, because if you're gonna lie to me about something as big as being married,
crazy. No, you don't spin a block on that one.
Yeah, I can't spin a block on that one because that's.
But what if he grows?
I hate liars. I hate liars indeed. That is crazy.
What if he divorces and commits to you?
He might grow.
He's 30. No, but see, that's the thing about it is, he is 37, so he's very much grown. And to me, it's the intent of your lie. So this long and this much, and from what I'm being told,
what else he lying about? If he lied about that?
Exactly, and it's pointless because supposedly the woman is in Japan. And y'all have nothing to do with each other. So why lie?
Thank you.
Like, so that's something
is she Japanese or just over?
No, military. Virginia Beach is a big military
area.
place. And honestly, I think it was, and I don't know really what the truth is, but supposedly it was for military benefits because this person presents as a very much gay person. But there was a time in our relationship where we were just like, or he was just like, let's just go to the courthouse. Nigga, how? So that's what confuses. That's why I'm like, how? Because how? So like you really fabricated this whole lie. So that's something that I wouldn't spin a block on. But I do think that there's other situations or other times that I don't know, a relationship can get away from you. Maybe you traveled, or maybe you went away, or it was something that one or the other person didn't want, a long distance relationship. And that's something that you can spin the block on.
How old are you, Shaughnessy?
30.
Oh, you're 30. Okay.
Damn, time fly
Wow.
by. I remember.
Don't you feel old? 15 years ago, I was sitting in your office.
Mm-hmm. You ain't got to bring that up. You ain't got to say that shit,
Okay.
Shaughnessy.
Your
You ain't
mind
got,
is not
because
over
I remember you
here.
as a little 14-year-old, whatever. Like, yeah.
Wow.
Man,
Woo.
crazy. But look how
It's a
stuff
hot
come full
show.
circle. We having conversations. You 30 now, and
I
Thank
know.
you.
and I'm 35.
And I'm about to have a 12-year-old.
You wish.
Who
I
said
am
that,
about to
Lakia?
have a 12-year-old
Yes, sir.
this year.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
What you was gonna say?
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, first off, first off, let me say, I was going to actually ask, so you beat me to it. You know, at 30 years old, you really haven't lived yet. You know, you. In other words, at 30, at 30, you just got grown at 30. Okay, you
I
just
can
getting it
agree.
grown when you're 30. So your 20s is your lean years. That's when you learn how to be an adult in your 20s.
I mean, I get it, and I definitely understand that concept, but I have been through a lot, and I have been pretty much on my own since 17. So I've been
Yep.
paying bills, providing for my own since
No, but the
17,
point is
as
though,
my mother passed away when I was young. So I
when you're in
definitely
your
been
20s, you just learn how to be an adult in your 20s. You know, I mean, yeah, I
right.
know because I was there. Because you know, when you're in your 20s, you think you know everything. You know, and this is when you realize by the time you get in your 30s, you realize how much you didn't know in your 20s. Am I right or
That's
Absolutely
wrong?
funny.
agreed.
That's why
I
she's the
So
agree.
baby of
when
the
you get 30,
bunch.
you
That's why she's
just
our
getting
baby.
to be an
Oh
adult. You know.
I definitely agree.
That's why she our baby. She's the
So
baby of the bunch.
you ain't. In other words, how the old folks used to tell us, just keep living,
Exactly. Yep.
just keep
And my
living.
uncle
Right.
tells
You
me
ain't
that all
experienced
the
nothing yet.
time. And I hate when he says that because I feel like I be
You know, I'm
having
not saying
real
you're a
life
baby. I'm
issues.
not saying you're green behind the ears, even though you are. But but that's technically, you know, you haven't you got a way to go yet. Okay.
Yes, I agree.
Come back with another. Trust me. 'Cause I know when I was 30, well, I thought, you know, you couldn't tell me nothing, you know. But I learned since then that
Yeah,
ain't
it's
that
definitely
ain't
ghetto here.
true.
And to
So,
think we thought that our parents
you
had it
know,
together
but
at this age.
like I said, I was married 3
Mhm.
times. Okay.
But it was different back then. It was different back then. You got
Yeah,
married at a younger age. You got married at
right.
a
But
younger age and started families and doing all kinds of stuff. Whereas people wait a lot longer now, and even when they do wait and get married longer, they don't stay married as long.
right. Even then, I thought my parents had it together. Like at 30, we lived a pretty good life. We had. Then I'm realizing, like at even my kids
I'm sorry
now.
to hear about your mother, but at the same time, though, you still have some living to do. You know,
Oh
you
yes,
know, not to
absolutely, a
take
lot
nothing from
of
you
it.
because but you still got some living to do. You got some experiences to
Absolutely,
gain.
a lot
So,
of it,
you know,
especially when this
so there's
youngest
a
one
lot of
turns.
stuff that some of us can talk about that you probably wouldn't have the slightest inkling about because you haven't been down that
Absolutely,
road yet.
I haven't even been outside yet. I had kids at 19.
Especially David as old as he is, you know.
Yes.
You about to have a 12-year-old,
Oh, I
Shaughnessy. What
forgot
you
David's
talking
still
about, girl?
here.
I know. And listen, when my youngest turns 15,
Uh,
baby, it's a
yeah,
wrap.
It's gonna be on and
yeah.
popping.
But yeah, that's as far as
All right.
Well,
So,
I don't think there's anything wrong with giving somebody a second chance within reason.
I know the feeling because when I was that age, I felt the same way when
I don't
people
know.
in my day
Oh, he must be
had me
delayed.
yeah,
Right,
oh, you
I think
don't know
so.
nothing. All
Way
these things,
2 hours
you know, you
delayed.
keep
Fucking
living, you don't
shit.
know nothing yet, you know.
Give me
And then
pause.
He
when I
was
got,
on
Take a
he was
another
on
pause.
my way.
15, 20 years later, I looked back and I said, you know, I should have listened because they was talking truth, you know.
Well, he can hear us laughing.
You know, so I understand. I've been there
I
He
where
guess
ain't
he
paying
can.
attention.
you on your way.
Not yet.
So I understand exactly.
I don't like none of
As
y'all
far
on
as
this panel.
relationships go, some
I'm
people,
with you in that. I say this.
Anita,
Anita,
what
you
were
know
you
we
there's some
rude
saying?
on
people
here. We rude.
I was saying,
Slow
I was
like in
saying,
conversation.
college, in their
I don't
20s or
think there's
something,
anything wrong with giving somebody a second
and
chance
they,
within
they
reason.
hook up and
Now,
they get
if
The whole
they,
conversation.
married, and they live a good life together. You know,
Absolutely.
they live a good life together.
I don't know
But we
what the
got
hell is going on tonight.
some that
why
they
can't it be
just
us?
can't hook
His
like
mouth ain't moving. His mouth wasn't moving.
Y'all stop.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it depends on it depends on not just the individual, but
Oh,
also the couple, the circumstances. That
God. I
too.
love
That
Monday night so
times was
much.
different
I look
too
forward to
back
Monday
in them
nights.
days. You know,
Anita, your face,
all
girl,
different
your face.
I'm
mentalities.
trying to get myself together right now.
Oh, God.
But that was also not necessarily a good thing though, because you got a lot of people got married and their marriage was miserable.
Right,
But they
exactly.
didn't get a divorce that fast. They just
Absolutely.
made it
Hey,
work.
if you don't cut it
Oh,
So
my God.
I was
Right.
saying,
Oh, God.
I can't take it.
Yeah.
can I continue now?
Anita, what were you saying?
You
I
got
was
hurry up,
saying,
Anita.
What
I don't think there's anything
what my
wrong with
dad
giving
told me
somebody a
when I was a
second chance
teenager,
within reason. Well,
he told me he said that you need
he,
you need to focus
hey,
on your
what's his name?
career, your life, and, and get things together first.
Yo, this remind me of on the bus trip. This lady kept giving us these historical facts, and we just wanted her
You
off the
know,
bus.
Yeah.
my dad said that you should focus on you getting your career,
I'm about
building
to
your,
pull the
get
plug.
your
I'm about to pull the
education,
plug.
go to
Let me
college,
finish this shit, Dad.
do what you're going to get your little, get your foundation together first. So then when you get around 30, you give or take, then you can start
David, I need you to get.
considering getting married. You can
Yeah.
still date
I'm about to
and go
pull
to
the plug.
parties and all that,
I have a
but
whole
just don't get
brain freeze
married
right
right
now.
now,
I can't.
And
My
David, if you
brain
don't
is
but
teach
of
that
course I didn't
frozen.
woman,
listen,
I'll
I
be
had
a
my
white
first
out right
kid when
now,
I was
David.
25.
Sean,
I
see,
Oh
you
That's
talking
agree.
good.
crazy.
But of course
Yes,
I
Sean.
thought I knew everything
Crazy.
at 25.
Yes,
So,
sir. Yep.
so Mr.
I agree.
Eddie,
But of
Mr.
course by
Eddie,
the time I was 30, I
Mr.
realized how
Eddie,
much I didn't know.
Mr. Eddie, Mr. Eddie,
Yes, sir.
And then by
Mr.
the time I
Yeah,
Eddie.
got
he
to
done gave
40, I
here. He's
realized how
still
much I
behind.
didn't know at
Hey,
30.
He's still behind. I can't do it. I have to pull the plug. I have to pull the plug. And
Wow.
I'm more than patient. I'm more than patient, but I couldn't do it no more.
How
I
is that
couldn't do
even
it no more.
possible?
Yeah.
No.
He did not hear
He
anything,
took
and
a
he was
whole
in his
pause.
own
He
world.
paused, and as soon as somebody
Yeah,
started talking,
yeah. He was in his own world. I'm sorry, people who listening, but you never know
That
what
was
happens in the counselor's
crazy.
corner. This is,
Okay,
this is real.
I'm trying to walk and I can't breathe, y'all, for laughing.
Oh
Oh
my god.
God,
y'all
oh
got me
God,
Oh
crying
my
on the
But
god.
that's
show.
what I get. That's what I get in
Oh my god.
inviting people over
that's what
in the
you get.
family. In the
And they don't want
family.
to go home.
You need to do a technology competency test before they enter.
And you need to be passing stuff through us. You just be pushing things
Just
over
invite
us.
people. Just invite people over to
Look,
the
it's
reunion with
going.
us.
He got
Oh
stuck on
God.
Shaughnessy being
Poor
30.
thing.
He couldn't stop.
Yeah,
Poor thing. Poor
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
How is that even possible though? That's crazy.
Can I
Y'all need.
Oh my
continue?
God.
Yes,
That was
Anita, we
fun.
want to hear you.
That was
Okay.
hilarious. Go
For
ahead,
the
Anita.
fourth time, I'm going to say this. I don't think there's,
Uh,
holy Jesus. I don't think there's anything wrong with giving somebody a second chance within reason. Now, if he's beating my behind and mentally and physically and emotionally abusing me, sexually abusing me, financially abusing me, that's a whole different story because that's a wrap.
Yeah.
But, a lot of relationships I've had in the military, it was not working out due to timing. So I did get back together with a couple people. So there's one individual I got back with. It was just a fluke. We met. We had lost touch for a couple years because I had a fiance that was crazy, that I was trying to get away from, and he was crazy. It took me all the way to go to Iraq to get away from him.
Yeah.
And then he stalked me when I came back from Iraq. It was crazy. Anyway, so like about 3 years later, I saw not the crazy one, somebody else in the supermarket, and we reconnected, and we both agreed that it was just the wrong time in our lives because I was doing this, he was doing that with his life, this was going on in my life, that was going on in his life, and sometimes it's not about the person. Both people aren't doing per se something wrong, is about the time in their life where they're going through something. So also I dated somebody for about almost 2 years. He went to Iraq. Well, first he was married. We got together when he wasn't married. So when he went to Iraq, we planned to go to the courthouse and get married. He came back. He was a hot mess, like most of us are when we come back from Iraq. And then a couple months later, he was talking to his ex-wife again. We broke up. They got back together. They got married, and they're still married.
Big fun
Wow.
in the military. I started to join the Army.
I
Well,
almost joined the Navy.
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I feel like relationships are easier in the military. Like Shaughnessy was explaining, you have time to miss each other because
Girl,
and you
don't
You
like
get a girlfriend too. You get a girlfriend
hold
too.
on. You both are so incredibly busy with soldiers, with counseling, with this, that, and the other thing, that when you finally do have that time together, it's appreciated a little bit more.
I
And then
agree, but they be
no,
Them Navy
you're
wives have a name.
huh?
Them Navy wives have a name.
Jody.
Yeah, I mean, it does happen. It does happen. I don't know if it's as common as it's made out to be, because there are loyal loyal people having relationships in the military.
I think it's because I'm in Virginia Beach and it's such a big Navy population that it might just be more of it going on. I think in the past month, two men have gone to jail. One beat another sailor with a dumbbell, and another one killed him. And they were both walked in on their shipmate and another sailor dealing with their wife. And that's twice in the last month.
I mean, that happens, but you just hear more about it, I think, dealing with the military, because not everybody's in the military. Right. But it's a normal, not normal, I don't want to normalize it, but it's a common occurrence just not being in the military too. You just hear more. I think it's hyped up because it's the military. And if you don't know or understand the military way of life, then I don't think, I think it's more difficult to be a military girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, something like that. But yeah, I think it's a lot easier when your boyfriend is deployed, and you have to find creative ways to make it happen. Like I'll say video cam. Like video cam, yeah.
Yeah, I'm laughing at something else,
you
man.
can create a sensual scene without it being open leg part. Like, light candles in the bathroom, throw some rose petals.
What the hell are you talking about?
I'm always
That ain't no fun.
Well, what
I was just about to say, Willie, don't talk me to death.
Willie, what I'm saying is when somebody is when
Exactly.
say somebody's on a business trip for like 2 months, don't you think you have to find creative ways to come together
Yeah,
as
book a flight and go
as
get
a
in that hotel
relation?
Thank
room.
I
you.
mean, you
2
can't
months?
exactly book a flight to
2
Iraq.
months? 2
You have to
months?
become creative.
Y'all be creative when
So
they get back.
no, you still have to keep the spark alive while they're together.
Okay.
Well, I
Exactly.
mean, while
Okay.
he's away.
Whatever.
If you don't know
See,
how
Whatever.
to keep
so
the
see,
spark
seem like
away
y'all
alive, I'm done. But
y'all
anyway,
trying.
I don't think there's anything wrong with giving people a second chance or third chance, because we were born into sin. Everybody's imperfect and people make mistakes. I know what you're saying, Herbert. Perfect. Herbert's perfect with his chicken wings and pizza. Better save me some. I'm hungry.
We are, you don't
You're
go,
on your
let's
way
not go
over,
down that
Herb.
road again. We already let's not go down that road again. We already
I don't know.
know.
It
I'm gonna
sound
give
like that ain't
Herbert
the
a
first
second
time.
chance.
Yeah. It's been some visits. It's been some visits. But we're not gonna get to the 4 talking points. We're gonna
Yes, we are.
What time
we're
is
gonna
it? Oh,
we're gonna
What's the
talk
fourth
about
talking
this,
point?
huh?
What's the fourth talking point?
The mandatory DNA testing, opinions and
Agreed.
thoughts.
Agreed.
We got a few minutes for that.
we still got plenty of time.
I agree with mandatory DNA testing. Point blank
Me
period.
too.
What you scared of? If you ain't freaking off, what you scared of?
But you know what? I was watching something earlier today. This woman got offended because somebody
I
her
mean,
husband.
granted, I get it. I get being offended, but
The way people cheat nowadays, you can get offended all you want to get.
it don't even. I think if it's mandatory, there's no offense
Right,
Mm-hmm.
because then that way you're just clearing up any doubt.
because we got to do it regardless. The same way they
Right.
do mandatory drug testing.
I think there should be mandatory DNA testing.
Sure. Go ahead and do it.
But I guess
And let's just say it's for the baby's genetic health.
That's right. That's
Wink,
right.
wink.
and that's
some,
part and that's part of it on why it should
later.
On why it should be done, but also people like who's gonna pay for this? And they like automatically
Insurance,
like the
just
men
like they
should
pay for
it.
everything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got real quiet on this stuff. The energy is real low.
I
Cutting dry. Ain't no tap dancing on this. Either you do or you don't.
Yeah, I just feel like do it. Why not? I just don't understand. I don't understand me personally saying no to it. Especially if it's put in as a round of normal tests. I get the offense part of it. Who wouldn't be offended? But again, if it's a normal test, then we do it for genetics and genetic health. No one should be offended. Get it done, especially if you don't have anything to hide.
I think if both parents get DNA testing and they keep it on file, then it's in the database in case somebody commits a crime, right?
Well, then I think people are getting that confused. The government is not responsible for DNA testing. The only thing they do is make sure that it occurs. There's a whole different company that deals with DNA testing, and they have nothing to do with the government. Now, if anybody's concerned about
that.
I want to say something.
I'm just saying, if it's mandatory to get DNA tests, they can keep everybody's DNA on file. That way, if there's a crime committed somewhere,
and that is where I will have a problem. No,
but hold on. You can't do that because it violates the Fourth and Fifth Amendments for due process and search and seizure. So you can't do that.
We're not doing that at all. No.
That's why if you're going to write the legislation in, you put the legislation in that once the results are determined, that DNA sample is destroyed.
Absolutely.
You're done with it.
I agree with that. Because there's no way you want to try. Because here's the problem with that. I can take a DNA test because I have a child, and my first cousin on my father's side could have done or committed a crime 15 years ago, and now
Yeah.
because I did this DNA test and it's entered into a database,
Right.
he's now on the hook. They're coming to me like, who's your family tree? Because
Correct.
this is how this goes and this is how that goes. One, it's illegal. Two, just know, then you're gonna have a lot of pushback on it. That's why a lot of people don't do the missing kid ID thing with the fingerprints. Because you're telling me if my kid goes missing, you want their fingerprints to help find them?
Right.
How? Or you want to put their fingerprints in a system?
Yep.
So yeah, that part is a little weird, but I definitely think that I feel like if we're all being truthful adults and we have nothing to hide, if a man is going to sign his name on this birth certificate that he can't walk back on or move back away from, why not take a DNA test?
Exactly.
The real is real and the fake is fake. What's up?
Because you even have some women that will say that a person is the father just so they can, because in certain states you got to put a father's name down there, and especially if they're getting benefits or whatever.
Yep.
And you have to give a father's name. So you claim somebody's the father.
You have to get you don't.
Yeah.
In certain states, in order to collect welfare, you have to name a father, so they have somebody to go after.
Not if you're raped.
Not the baby's father.
Not if you're raped, and not if you don't know, and not if you had a one night stand. Women just don't know the right excuses, and they don't know their rights. But
that's different.
You got to know what to say to these people.
This man, his name, the woman put his name down as the father because she had to put somebody's name down. Found out he wasn't the father. And they still making him pay child support.
Yeah.
Without a DNA test?
They can do that.
He had one done and found out he's not the father.
But did he sign a birth certificate?
No.
That's what he's saying. It doesn't, in certain states, keep in mind, in certain states, in order to qualify for welfare benefits, a father has to be named. Has to be named.
I understand that fact. So you have to name a person as, I named John Smith as the father of my child. Cool.
Right.
I get child support benefits, blah, 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 blah. I get government assistance, whatever the case may be. And then they find John Smith and they say, hey, you owe us this, plus you owe this lady child support for this many years. In typical,
and that's what happened.
But wait, in typical child support cases, the initial point of contact, if that person's name is not on that birth certificate, is a paternity test. The father has to first agree that this is his child and sign the birth certificate or take a test and it comes back that he is a father before that order is put in place.
Well, this situation that
that's what we're telling you. It doesn't, what you're saying, Shaughnessy, doesn't hold true in every state. You're conflating the two.
She gave
I'm telling you, go through every individual state and see what the ability to claim is.
That he was not the baby's father, and the courts is still making him responsible for child support. Actually, put him in jail.
Yeah.
Why is he responsible?
Because his name was put on the birth certificate.
He was the father.
And see, that's the problem. That's the problem when you have these.
You can't flip. That's what I'm saying. You can't just
be universal with all this stuff.
I'm telling you, it's a story that's been in the news for the last year or two.
I mean, I just recently had a child 6 years ago. I can say whoever I want to be the father is the father. I can say whatever I want. If he does not sign that birth certificate, his name is not going on there. It's not.
Well, I'm telling you what this story was about. I don't know.
It is an affidavit of parentage that the male has to sign in order for his name. That's when he gives up his right to turn back around. When he signs that paper that says affidavit of parentage, that's when he gives up his right to say I am or am not the father. I can say whoever is the father.
I'm telling you the story about the situation about the man that's in court right now, and the judge put him in jail. He had to get a lawyer, and he's still fighting it because they're trying to make him pay child support, and they know the child is not his child.
He had to sign that birth certificate.
You even have cases. You even have cases where listen. You even have cases where a person is dating a person, and they have a child that's not their child. And when they leave that relationship,
they're compelled to pay support.
responsible to pay child
if you
support.
sign, or if you adopt. And yes, I have an uncle that's going through this personally. She was pregnant when he married, and he signed. So and he knows, and she knows, and they know. They put her in that child support order. Why? Because you signed an affidavit of parentage. So whatever the DNA test said, you said that this is your child. So you took responsibility. But if you do not sign that affidavit of parentage, they cannot put that on you. And that's on a federal level.
That first case that I mentioned,
let me hold on. I just did a quick online search. I'm going to read the ways that paternity fraud occurs. First one, lying on the court application or during the court review about the child's actual father, which is what Willie's talking about. What we're saying is she's naming the father. We're not saying it goes on the birth certificate. The hospital doesn't care. The state doesn't care so long as somebody's named as the father, so they have somebody to go after. The paternity test only makes it official, so the birth certificate can be notarized and sent to wherever it is, the city hall or wherever else the records are going to be officially kept. That's how they catch you men up in the system. It doesn't happen for women because the courts really go after women for support. This is why a lot of women are against mandatory DNA testing, because it catches them up. Because now if they're married, the man has grounds for legal divorce, and more often than not, they won't get alimony and any type of child support, particularly if they can't locate the biological father.
You have a lot of married men that find out later that a child or several children are not his. You have several situations like that. They're thinking the kids are his and find out later something happened, maybe medically or whatever, and the child needs blood transfusion or kidney or whatever, and find out that the child is not theirs. That's devastating too, especially to a man.
So for me, and I know this is bigger than this, whatever, just to think that you have all these separate rules and policies state by state, all this shit is crap. Like, it should be one universal thing, whatever. We're all, everybody, I mean, it should be just like civil rights, whatever. It shouldn't be, oh, in this state you could do this, and this state you could do this. In this state you can mess with girls if they're 16 and their consent. In this state you could be 17 or 18. Like, this shit is just madness. Like, it's just out of control. Like, there's nothing consistent. So we wonder why the world is the way it is, especially in our country. It's just too chaos. There's like too many inconsistencies, whatever. So some people say, well, I can go to this state because I know that after this age, I don't have to pay child support or whatever the case is. So it's just people reading up on this stuff and trying to get by the system. This is
absolutely.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. That's my take on this. Mm-hmm.
And that's all she wrote. I gotta go, guys. So I gotta wake up early.
Yeah, you was asleep anywhere, but don't come on here wrapped up in blankets no more.
Coming in here.
I am so cold. I'm in my living room, and it's cold in my living room.
I would say so, but I will keep it to myself.
You wouldn't have to worry about that.
What?
Nothing.
What do you say? If I was at Herb's house, I wouldn't have no problems.
Oh, you said that. See, yeah. Man.
I'm just playing.
I was gonna say it's cold here.
I know. It's cold here. I'm gonna have a heating blanket next time. Nice and toasty. Anyway, guys, I gotta wake up at 6 a.m. I got a kitty cat to get neutered.
Oh Lord.
All right, Anita, thanks for joining.
Herb, are you gonna go and hold her hand?
Knee
slapper. Cat being neutered?
Yeah, you both are cat lovers. You should go and support her.
I'm an animal lover. I just happen to own cats.
That means he's gonna live longer.
Support her.
What is this joke?
Okay, I mean, if that's how you do it.
Huh?
We talking about cats.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to, because I know that this was something that I know of. Under the U.S., the United States Department of Health and Human Services regulations, All states, each and every one of the states must offer unwed parents an opportunity to establish paternity by voluntary signing an acknowledgement of paternity, either at the hospital or at a later time. In most states, it is a result of a political pressure to reduce the number of mothers on welfare by ensuring that there is someone else with an obligation to support the child.
To take the
Hospital
obligation,
personnel
right?
will make every effort to get the father to sign the acknowledgement. That just tells you right there, you do it voluntarily. They push it, but it's voluntarily.
Well, I just told you the story about the guy. I don't know what he did or didn't do.
I think he signed that. I think he signed, and it's unfortunate. And I don't think that this system is correct, because if I'm in the hospital when we have a baby, a newborn baby, we're in bliss, I'm in love, this is my partner, etc., I'm gonna sign the paper.
Yeah.
And then now I'm wrapped up in something when she knowingly deceives me. And I think that is dead wrong. But that's why this is the question of whether there should be mandatory DNA tests. And I agree that there absolutely should. There absolutely should be, especially if there's a father present. And I think until that DNA test comes back that he is the father, that father spot should be left blank, because I know it's my baby. It came out of me. You just don't know.
Well, I would
That's
say
right.
it's too late.
What's too late?
It's too late. It's been happening for years. Just let it go. If
What?
I'm just messing with you, because you know half the people in Niagara Falls don't know who their real daddy is.
I might go get a DNA test for my daughter. Let me find out where am I call my daughter, see if we're gonna get a DNA test.
Oh my Lord.
Well,
what? My daughter know I love her. My daughter
but then
know I
don't
love
make
her.
comments like that.
Watch, you know how I am.
Hey, Willie, they seem like they're in the smacking people mood for making bad jokes. Be careful.
Yeah.
My daughter just texted me. My daughter just texted me. I wonder if she's watching the show.
Yeah, I have a lot going on, man, out of the counselor's corner.
I'm going to bed. Y'all done got me laughing till my head hurt. I gotta go to bed.
Yeah.
That was hilarious. And he's in the private comment in the chat saying, "What happened? I'm back. Hello." Hello. So
nothing. Don't worry about it. We're gonna skip that.
I'm gonna call it quits.
What point?
I already know you get tired, Lakia. You like? Oh,
Did we finish all points?
No, we didn't get to the fourth point, but I'm okay with not finishing it.
What's
because
the fourth point? What's the fourth point?
We can lead off with that. The fourth one was, ladies, what are your issues with a sensitive man?
Yeah, let's talk about that next week.
Yeah, we're gonna hold that over the next week. Anybody got any closing comments? Anybody got any closing comments?
Like me?
Nah.
Sometimes
I'm ready to go to sleep.
Spin a block.
All I gotta say is I love you guys. It's been
Love
grand.
you too.
My throat hurt and my cheeks hurt.
Okay.
So hard.
Okay. Just gone. Just mess
Y'all been slacking up on the closing comments lately. Y'all know I paid attention to it. Last week y'all ran out of here like y'all stole something the other week, but it's okay though. It's okay.
My closing comments are gonna be: it's okay to spin a block, and make sure that's your baby before you sign that paper.
All right. My closing comments are: if you come at me and question my black manhood, you are going to feel the wrath of Willie Price. Don't come at me. And when you see me in public, continue to act like you don't know me the way you've been doing, and we won't have a problem. And then don't come on the show and act like you know.
That is not a closing comment. That is a pointed statement.
I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet.
That was a direct threat.
And headshots can be deceiving.
Now I'm with you on that one, brother.
Oh, Lakia, you got something to share?
Who deceived you?
Next week, huh?
I'm going to say life and death is in the power of the tongue. Be careful what you speak.
Okay.
Because they
That's
like a
right.
boomerang. It come right back at you.
Chris Rock.
That's
Chris
it.
Rock.
Ego death. His ego was killed. Dead.
Okay, good night, guys. Have a good
Look at
night.
the net. It's got to be
Enjoy
party.
Vegas.
Go down to Fremont.
Stay safe.
Go down to
Stay
Fremont.
safe.
Have a good time.
My closing
Fremont.
comment
They
is
got steak and lobster, $9.99.
Well,
I don't want that steak and lobster.
Oh, that's
Right.
just
That
good as
sounds
I don't know
cheap.
what.
It sounds like I'm gonna be sick. Food
oh
poisoning.
right. It's gonna be a lot of poop in that crab.
It's delicious.
That went out.
Please.
That was sick. That was out of date last week.
Nah, baby. That's Vegas. That's Vegas. That's how they do you. Great show, fellas. Great show, ladies.
David was in the middle of giving his closing comment. Will he's the show?
Oh, I'm sorry.
host.
Yeah. My closing comment is, man, these conversations gonna be put out there. There's no need for, I don't know, as people would say, emotional intelligence, or to lose your emotional intelligence to go back and forth. It's not. I mean, these conversations are serious, very serious, but yet and still, it shouldn't be personal toward us on the panel.
Let's all be friends.
It really shouldn't
That's
be.
right.
Whatever. We should build a united front and whatever, and we gonna always disagree. That's what family does. We disagree.
That's right.
Yeah,
We
you barely ever
are
have a family that totally
family.
agree with everything. So again, these conversations, they're gonna rub people the wrong way. We're gonna have different opinions, but let's not let it end up in a result that is a divide and conquer thing, because that's not the purpose of this.
That's
It's
right.
to build and to grow. And with that said, I'm done. It's a damn dog fight. I've been looking at side eye watching this March Madness, Kansas and North Carolina, and it's like 6 minutes left, and I'm about to enjoy this. Have me a
Who's winning?
cocktail. Kansas
Who's
winning
winning?
by 3, but North Carolina was up by like 15, and I don't know
Wow.
what the hell didn't happen. So that's that.
Well, you
Thank
guys have a
gang.
wonderful night, and I will see you guys next Monday.
All right, y'all be good.
Good
Be safe.
night.
Good
All
night,
right.
people.
Good night.
Bye. Bye.
He's so silly. I don't know why they say let it out. People be wilding.
Yeah, they were.